Happy New Year. All right, so you are going to get to see a lot of Victor and I this year because we decided as our part of our New Year's resolution is to work on using our throat chakra more and get in front of people more, because we have all these great ideas and we catch ourselves all the time saying like, well, don't people know? And obviously people don't know some of these things because we have horrible statistics for health and happiness and enjoyment of life. And we really, we're thriving, we're doing amazing, and we're happy, we're vibrant, we're living our purpose. And so we want to share more of that with you. And I've kind of realized it was like a duh moment this week that I thought, we don't really go on YouTube very often.
And create any content to help, consistently help people, right?
I think it's like that lemonade always, with COVID this year, we've always been able to find lemonade. And it's like these really bad situations, and then all of a sudden it turns into something good for us, at least, maybe because we can adapt really quick. One of those things was, Instagram put up those new guidelines last week or the week before, and it really made me question, I don't know if I want to be here. And honestly, I don't even know, I know we record here, but we also throw it over on Rumble also. And I don't know, hopefully the guidelines don't get too crazy here either, but I think it was one that we're focusing so much on talking on Instagram that we kind of, you can't juggle.
And even the messaging there and the branding that you're trying to stay and all that, right? That can kind of impede a little bit like everything we're about. You want to get too broad, right?
Yeah, well, what he's saying is, we're so much recording stuff on YouTube about adventure and best hikes. Well, the fact is like a lot of people can't go travel right now. You can't go adventure. You can't do those hikes you really love to do.
Everyone feels like crap.
And we're about so much more than that. Before we were living that RV lifestyle, we've always been about health and fitness. It's just not something we're always verbal about. And so we are now. So today, January 1st, we want to give you everything you need to know to live your life to the fullest as far as from a health and wellness standpoint. I'm going to talk a little bit from a mindset and mindfulness at the end of this, but health is not something that we should take for granted. It's not something we should take lightly. And for some reason, I know the reason, but a lot of people struggle with it. It's not easy for people to be healthy.
30 years of working in the industry. I can tell you what I work with people at the beginning, what I'm doing now. And these are people that are relatively fit. Children I see walking in, what I've seen happen to children and their general fitness, it's sad. You want to talk about the real pandemic? Obesity, diabetes, holy smoke, guys.
We just saw a statistic that this is the first generation that will die younger than their parents.
The parents were outlived because
stop for a second and think about that. We all love our kids so much. We want the best for them. And yet we have this time in the world where we might not be able to give our kids what we want. I know every parent's I never want to die before my child, or I never want to see my kid die. I don't want to outlive my kids. And so we really, it's kind of a slap in the face that we have to be no, now's the time to make bold changes.
I saw the cover of Wall Street Journal this week. It had an article on the dietary guidelines that they're putting out for the U.S. And it's a joke.
I think they were actually purposely trying to mess with
people to see they really didn't. They backpedaled you can have a little more alcohol, a little bit of sugar, but kids under a certain age shouldn't have refined sugar, but fruit's okay. And in the end, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? We have a serious issue, and they're still trying to adjust. It's no different than the presidential fitness tests. When we grew up, we had to do so many pull-ups, so many push-ups, and now they're excluding the push-ups because so few kids can do it. They dumb it down. Okay, well, they can just hold a plank.
We tell this story all the time. When we opened our gym in 1997, I could make my 5-year-olds do 100 push-ups in that class at the time.
That was part of their workout at the end.
When we closed our doors, I couldn't get 10 push-ups. It was like pulling teeth. So one of the next videos you're going to see, though, or future videos, are going to be just even fitness ones. And our family does yoga together every day. It's huge. It makes such a difference. It's not, our kids still do pull-ups and push-ups also, but it's important to bring this well-roundedness to kids, and the best way you can do it is by being the example. We'd never have to ask our kids to do it, because honestly it's like FOMO. Because we do it, they kind of want to be included, as opposed to saying like, you need to go do that. We never said that. It's just you lead by example. So True Health Formula is what you're going to get today. A lot of information. If it's overwhelming, don't worry. We'll have links in the description on a summary of all this. Yeah. And you can join our email list where we'll be giving you more information. But we're going to start with Victor's favorite. I mean,
come on.
Nothing's wrong with it, but your favorite.
But before we start off with my favorite, it's important to understand, and I did a video earlier this week on my Facebook Live, and in the end, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you already have a little bit of rapport with us, or you found us because of our adventure, and you might be already on there. That's why you went to seek that out. You were looking for a little bit of motivation. But I think it's critical that we push this to someone or help someone else. So share this with a friend that might need it, that goes, you know what, these people would speak to this person. The approachability is always what strong people lift people up. Okay, they don't push them down. And that's sort of what we made a mistake, right? The fitness industry does a really good job in the United States of making fit people fitter. Less people are moving, more people are getting fatter. So that's a failed model. Plus, it's probably never coming back in the way that we see it, right? Absolutely. And so we're going to talk first about strength training, right? Yawn, extreme yawn. Now look, you can define what that is. For every person can be different, and every person could make it so that it works into their life different as well.
I think the big thing Victor's trying to say is like, strength training is not just a function of looking like Victor. It's totally approachable in lots of different facets. So yes, there are definitely meatheads out there that are gonna be like, yes, I just want to get stronger. But if you aren't eager to walk into the weight room, Victor can completely redefine what you think about strength.
And we don't know if we even have weight rooms anymore. Most of my clients now work digitally from their home, exercise ball, TRX, few kettlebells.
So just like we had to say, we had to reshift. Yes, we'd love for you to be deadlifting and squatting and doing pull-ups, but just because that doesn't sound fun doesn't mean it's a black or white thing. That's all you can do. I think one of your most successful programs is when you used to have people do like the 5x5, because then they would just feel like, I can get in, I can do my favorite lifts, I don't need an hour in the gym.
Right, so efficiency becomes critical. When you're doing strength training, it always surprises people when I design 20, 30-minute workouts 2 or 3 times a week. Now remember that, write that down. 20, 30-minute workouts, I can do that. Now, what movements? Remember, the goal of strength training, depending on, everyone's a little bit different. Some people want to lose a little bit more weight. Some people, again, when you fill out an evaluation, you kind of figure out where your health is. It should help you add a little muscle mass, improve bone density, improve strength, improve endocrinology. So your hormones are working better when we do a little strength training.
Now notice he did not say, look shredded for a fitness magazine or a fitness competition, or look a certain way. When we're talking strength, we're talking functionality. Fine, if you want to, completely change your nutrition so that your muscles show up on your body better, that's great. That's in the nutrition part. Right here, we're talking about functional strength to enjoy your life, to be healthier.
Go get outside, do some stuff.
And that health really comes down to being able to have balance inside, meaning your hormones are in balance, your metabolism's in balance. All those things play a huge role, and they start with strength.
Yeah, so 2 to 3 times a week, 20 to 30 minute, large muscle groups. Now that's where the minutia comes in. We all know the movements. There's some people like, I absolutely hate push-ups. Okay, we won't do push-ups, we'll do an overhead press, but compound movements. And I pride myself on designing workouts that are appealing to people. So get 2 or 3 movements, then take care of your body through rehabilitative and prehabilitative exercise as well.
There's going to be a common theme in this, is that intuition really plays a huge role in health. And if somebody tells you this is the best workout or this is the only workout you should do,
be leery.
No. Or same with diets. This is the keto's the one, paleo's the one. It's intuitive.
We don't have if you have a name behind something that you're doing, I'm doing blank. If you can say that, there's a good chance you're going to head towards burnout.
Absolutely. So that brings up strength as the first pillar.
Number 1.
Absolutely. You got to have some strength to be able to enjoy your life We need some muscle mass so that you can boost your, move and boost your endocrinology. But mobility is number 2. And it's something that, it's not so fun. If we said stretching, or if we say yoga, sometimes I don't want to do that. So we call it mobility. It can come in lots of forms. For me, I get my mobility work best if I'm doing yoga because I tend to move through a lot of different planes. Now, while it's definitely helped living up here in Montana that you've done more yoga with me.
Absolutely.
He gets a lot more mobility work still in the gym.
Yeah, so I include rehabilitative and prehabilitative motions into my workouts, stretching in between. The best part, I always tell people, I always tell my clients, strong people don't rush. And so if I'm looking to get maximum endocrinology and improve, let's say, a pull-up or a kettlebell swing, I like to give my clients a little rest in between. And what better use of your time than to stretch and mobilize? Now that can include yoga, MFR. We'll tell them MFR.
Definitely. Myofascial release is to have some links into to the benefits of that.
Or it could be traditional static stretching. All of those are critical components, and those can be sprinkled into that 20 to 30 minute workout. So now you're talking about, okay, well, if I'm doing a little rehab, how hard could this be? And we can talk about intensity on another workout. We do need to work on like flipping that switch. I need to know that my clients are flipping that switch to get that positive result. So that's mobility.
You're talking about like some growth hormone spike?
Yeah, the endocrinology, when you're talking about strength training, the goal of the strength training is to create an anabolic situation, of a situation where you're improving. In most cases, that's challenging the muscle to elicit a response. To elicit a response is you send a message to that pituitary gland. It says, oh man, this guy or this gal's got a tough life. We got to generate a little bit more muscle to help them deal with the stresses of their everyday life. And so we need to have that challenge there. There has to be challenge so that the body lays down extra muscle or sends a message to increase bone density, and that throws down extra positive hormones for the body.
So it's almost like good stress.
Well, absolutely good stress. And we know, I can tell you, I went through my 20s trying to get as much size as possible. I was literally overtraining myself. I was chronically fatigued from doing too much. That was bad. And so I always, when you're looking to work out, think about it. You want to be able to get in the workout, flip that switch, and get out. As a rule of thumb, if you walk out of the gym and first off, you're feeling like a buzz, like, wow, I feel good. And you feel like, maybe I could go back after 45 minutes, like I could probably go back and do some more. You probably hit the sweet spot. Okay, remember that. If you are dragging butt, leaving like, oh man, what a hard workout, and you leave and you feel like you need to take a nap, it was probably too much. You hit it too hard, and it's not going to send the shift. Now look, if you're looking to get better, be a world champion at something, I sometimes encounter this when I go to jiu-jitsu, like I train really hard, especially if I have something I'm training for. You need to push yourself to get that little extra benefit. But for the most part, strength training is a tool for you to live your life.
Absolutely. And when you were training for those things, then you have to add in some of these other layers of recovery and treat yourself a little bit more like an athlete. For this, we're talking about if you're not in a competition or you're not going to
general health and wellness. General health and wellness. All right, number 3.
Number 3, the one that should be so much more fun, but for some reason people hate nutrition. Like, and I'm sure it's because of the dopamine rush we get from our food, and it's if we're going to feed ourselves well, and it takes time. And a lot of times people are like, I don't want to spend more time in the kitchen. I don't want to think ahead about going grocery shopping. But you know what? Like, food is so much fun. Think about how many great memories are, created in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so when we can reshift our thinking about almost that food is a gift. In our family, we love food. Food must be at least half of our budget a month, because we spend a lot of money on really good, high quality food that we always make at home. Even when we travel, if anything, on the flip side, because we make our own food when we travel, we could travel for so cheap because we'd always go to a grocery store, carry our little butane burner, cook roadside if we had to. We almost never eat out, and it makes, I know that sounds boring, and I know that sounds like, oh, but guess what? Because of COVID, it's so much easier because everything's closed. So
yeah, and you do have to spend time learning how to cook and prepare food, but that's part of it, right? When you're cooking and preparing food, your body's ready to assimilate the food better, as opposed to getting in line, receiving food, and the body hasn't gotten the message like it's time to eat yet.
Not to mention, while you're waiting for your takeout order, you're probably on your phone, you're creating a stress response.
Yeah.
We need to hit it hard in the gym, like Victor was saying, but then we need to create way more decompression outside of that, outside of our work, outside of our jobs and our goals. So nutrition, big.
Simple.
If it came from a mom, if it came from a seed, it's probably okay to eat. There are a few exceptions. It's getting harder and harder to kind of navigate your way around GMO foods. And yes, there are, I don't want you to, just live off of, sometimes we're not vegan. We're not necessarily huge proponents of vegan. If veganism works for you and you're thriving and you're actually eating mostly vegetables, that's great. But I was going to say, if you're just sitting and eating starches for 90% of your meals, you might have some issues. But overall, that's not where we're going to go. We're going to start with simple, fine, eat that. Eat rice, eat a potato, eat salads, eat meat. The big thing is sourcing.
Where you get it from. So
industrial meat is probably one of the worst things you can put in your body. Let's see all the no-nos. So we don't want anything with high fructose corn syrup. We're trying to avoid GMOs. We don't want anything processed with chemicals. If it has a label, try to buy things that don't have labels. But if it has a label and it looks and you can't pronounce,
don't eat it.
Don't get it. And again, we'll have a link to Nutrition Made Simple that has all these in worksheets so you can print them out when you go to the grocery store. But overall, we're trying with nutrition just to make it whole foods. We can go and go. Allergies? Do you want to go into allergies?
Yeah, that most people are reacting on some level. I treat 9 out of 10 people for imbalances in their gut health. And a lot of that ends up being by processed foods and intolerances or allergies that they're consuming. Now, it's tough to know. It's a chicken or an egg argument, whether that stuff they're reacting to it because they're in such a state of inflammation and overstressed, or the sourcing. I would probably say it's both. We know that the vast majority of wheat in our country is sprayed with pesticides. And because of that, they treat it with pesticides. It's grown with pesticides so that it's resistant to the pesticide. Well, wow, that seems genius, but at the same time, you are consuming that is becoming part of you. So, heck, that's a huge light bulb. If you're reacting and something does not give you any, if you feel like you need to take a nap after a meal, you don't have energy from it, sign. Skin issues, gut issues, sleep issues, hormone issues, all those are your body talking to you. And let your food be your medicine. And it sounds like, oh gosh, he's not telling me anything new. Well, we are. We are telling you the first 3. You got to do those 3. The reason people struggle is because they're like, oh, life's too hard. I can't handle all that. You need to handle it. You need to prioritize yourself. You need to prioritize your family because no one else is going to do it for you right now.
Now, remember that first statistic. Our kids are going to die younger than us. So we really need to make those hard calls. And the big thing is, if you have kids, teach them how to cook. My kids make almost all of their meals now. I rarely even have to go in the kitchen. I love to, but they love to too. And so it's great because now as they became teenagers and now adults, I can say, hey, make this for dinner. And they make amazing meals. So give your kids, bring them into the kitchen with you, get them started young. Big things is, again, we'll put a link into Nutrition Made Simple, but it has tons of recipes in there. But just keep it simple to start with. Start with salads, homemade dressings, soups. Yeah, tons. Oh. He's a soup guy now.
I'm a soup guy. I grew up not having soup. Soup was not necessarily my favorite thing.
Because?
Actually, quite a few things were not my favorite thing when I met this one. But she's kind of introduced me to lots of different things, and our soups are just so hearty. They're good. The bone broth is critical. That's another thing. There's a lot of misinformation about what's healthy. I get young adults who I'm working with this week is like, can I have seafood? Is that healthy? I'm like, yeah, if it's wild caught, why would you think it's not? He's like, I just don't know.
So much confusion.
Yeah, so much confusion. I tell people I start most of my mornings with farm fresh eggs. And I go, oh, aren't you worried about the cholesterol? Oh my gosh, are we still doing this? Are we still doing the fat thing? And actually, saturated fat was on that list in the Wall Street Journal about control the amount of saturated fats they're consuming. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're still saying this message.
So you might not know this even while you're doing this.
That's what we're sharing.
Cholesterol is our building block for hormones.
Say it again.
Cholesterol is the building block for hormones.
You need healthy fat and cholesterol to generate your hormones. The real problem comes down to sugar and inflammation in the body and rancid oils right now.
Yes.
Oxidative oils. Okay? So think about what you're cooking your food in. Don't use vegetable oil. Don't use canola oil. I'm sure we'll probably get someone will come in on that. But remember, those companies all are businesses. And so they're trying to slide money in the right ways. You know that pyramid? I knew back in 1997 that when I was in college and they're talking about the pyramid, I'm like, dude, if I eat like that, I know what happens to me. I don't eat like that. I need more protein, vegetables. I can even consume a moderate amount of fruits and be okay. But if I eat breads and pastas and like even tortillas,
and let's add in that intuition part again. Victor has to eat way different than how I eat, but we're still both following the rule of it's a whole food. We're both, our macro ratios are different. He needs way more protein than I need. I actually need a lot more vegetables. I thrive on them. He needs some, but he doesn't need nearly the quantity that I need to physically feel great. His blood sugar is a little bit more sensitive. So he has to have a little bit more healthy fat. Like we'll talk about it in another video about coffee. Like he needs to bulletproof his second cup of coffee, where I can stay on just black coffee for most of the morning and be fine.
Yeah.
Little things. And there's some overlying part. Is it our build? It could be. Is it our blood type? When you start learning Ayurvedic medicine, there were some differences there, which again goes back to build and temperament. There's some overlapping things that come to play. We study astrology a lot now, and sometimes I even think about like, is it in the stars that we're imprinted with? Because there is definitely a difference, but it doesn't mean like, oh, he gets to go eat Doritos and I'm gonna go have potato chips. Like, no, it's still a whole food. It just is. Like, I can't have, white rice doesn't agree with me. He can have some white rice. It seems to do okay for him.
Wait, we got to back up. Like, I can have white rice and brown rice, but my total starches always have to be controlled.
Yes.
Okay?
Post-exercise.
Are they healthy? Yes. I just know that I want a certain amount of, to keep up with Sporty Spice, I need to be a certain amount of leanness. As it is, like, running, walking, long distance cardio, I'm like a dangerous over short distances kind of guy, but, and Robin just gets warmed up at 6 miles. I'm like, dang, can we go stop and get some food? So I manage my weight. Naturally, when I do a lot of resistance training, I bulk up and add size. So I have to balance that out. And that comes to getting to know individuals and program design. So figure out there's the why of why you train, and that's important too. We can talk about that too, but we're getting a little bit sidetracked here. Why don't we reel it back in?
All right, okay, so number 4, play.
And this goes back to the why. Now, play theory. What do you mean, Victor? You're gonna go play. Sustainability in your lifestyle is a critical component. Remember that. If you're struggling and have worked out and then not worked out, it's because you didn't have a real reason. Plus, you also did something you really weren't enjoying. And so you use willpower to put on it. And then eventually, guess what? You come up dry. You go to the well too many times. You come up dry with the willpower to keep participating. The reason I do what I do is because I have a reason to do it and I truly enjoy it. And so when I'm designing workouts for clients and they're coming in and see me, I'm like, hey, how was that? It's like, damn, that was good. I want them to enjoy it because then I know when they're done with working out with me and they're on their own and they're taking flight and doing it on their own, they will do it because they enjoyed it.
Now, flip side is I don't really like the strength aspect. I mean, I did it for so long, but it didn't bring me that much joy. It didn't align with my why. Start playing all these sports and all of a sudden, one, that was very fulfilling and it's exciting to wake up and be like, all right, let's go mountain biking, let's go surf, climb. But it redefined why I would step into the gym to begin with. And it's a little bit more of like, okay, that mobility meant a whole lot more if it was going to keep me feeling good to surf, or that strength, I really needed it if I want to mountain bike up hills a lot. And so the play, it's all interwoven. It's not, we're presenting them as 1, 2, 3, 4, but they're all, it's really a circle, and we need them to be synchronized or harmonious.
So let's back off for a second. Why play? Play puts you in gamma state. Play puts you in a healthy mental state. You lose yourself in it. And hopefully while I'm saying this, you're telling yourself, oh yeah, that resonates. I remember when I was in high school and I played soccer. It was about enjoying. I was really good. I was engaged. I was worked with a team. It was a synchrony. At the end, you weren't thinking about, oh wow, that's arduous and difficult. And
you're not thinking about calories
burned and everything like that. And that's why it's a critical component. I see people who spend the most time in gamma state are the happiest people in the world. So by default, those are people that are playing their sport or losing themselves, they're training. And so everyone, it's different. Robin, you kind of know where Robin does. I kind of get some gamma state from working out, but more as that is like a positive endocrinology, like rah, beast mode is engaged. Plus I also have this satisfaction, like, yeah, I survived that. I can survive this. But I lose myself a lot in my jiu-jitsu and wrestling, anything grappling. That's my flow state, believe it or not. I'm happiest when I'm either being choked or choking someone else, believe it or not. And time goes by. I know sometimes I'll lose myself even with Jiraiya. An hour and a half goes by and I'm like, geez, we've been practicing a long time. We got to go back inside. Mom's going to be mad. And so spend some time figuring that out. If you don't, there's a couple hacks. You can go ahead and start off looking back at your history and what you did. Victor, I can't really go out. I'm in no condition to go play basketball, go play soccer. I used to dance. Do little bits of that. Just put a soccer ball at your feet and dribble it up back and forth. Maybe it'll ignite something inside you. Shoot some hoops.
It really does come down to a lot of personality type and you're nurture what you used to do and just your nature. Some people, like to me, I always think start with something with a little bit of adrenaline, of course. But I think a lot of people out there too, it's not fulfilling enough or motivating enough if there's not a little bit of like wind in your face. So what about just even bike riding? I'm amazed how many adults don't ride a bike anymore. Or not that they can't, they just don't. Like go ride a bike up and down some hills. Like get some adrenaline.
I love skating. I love skating around on our longboard. Of course, if you've been a long time without, there's never anything other than pure stoke about me just carving up a little bit. I'm like, wow, this makes me feel like a kid. If you lose yourself in it, it's a little bit challenging, a little bit of adrenaline. There's a good chance you're right where you need to be with play.
When we were in San Diego, and I always tell you, go surf, it's so great, but that's kind of intimidating. But even just going in the ocean and jumping over the waves, that might be really invigorating for a lot of people.
Yeah, boogie board too.
I mean, it's not necessarily flow state. But we've got to take the first step towards something bigger. So take a big flow state activity. I understand things are locked down. It makes it hard, but
the outdoors isn't open. But give them a recommendation too on how many times a week do they need to play?
Okay, at least twice a week. I'm going to tell you, like when I'm not playing almost every day, like right now, it's really hard. In fact, if we just disappear off YouTube for a little while, it's because I got to go play again. Most days you should be doing something that you kind of lose yourself in. But let's aim for minimum twice a week.
Good.
A big one right now, it's winter, so snow sports are so great, and they're so easy in a way.
Now, before you say it, I can't. Robin catches me every time I say that. Go try, take a lesson, spend the money. Everyone can walk. Go get some snowshoes.
I just think the bunny hills on skis, like it's so easy on like some of these bunny hills. Like look at our blogs for some of the resorts we've just recently went to. There are some that you can get on Craigslist cheap skis, go to Tamarack in Idaho. The beginner slope is free. It costs you only money for a hotel in a nice room with a jacuzzi.
And the instructors at most of these places are phenomenal.
So you do have now is probably the easiest time to winter sports are easy.
All right, so let's get to number 5, your favorite. And I'm going to I'll introduce it. Because she'll pontificate on this one for a long time. And this is the mindfulness. And this is one part where Robin has really kicked me in the butt and helped me develop my training with a lot of clients to take them to another level. Long ago, I knew I was doing more than just providing a workout. If it was just about the workout, I would have stopped. But in the end, I knew I was providing greater quality of life, providing emotional support, but I didn't really see that like transformation. Now, when I say transformation, if I want to tape your mouth shut so you should get ripped and you look good in a bikini, that's not the type of transformation I'm talking about. You can do that, anything short term.
Smiling.
Yeah.
The transformation is walking around with a smile.
And people are happy and engaged and like, oh my God, thank you so much. I get to do, because we did this, I can go hike Kilimanjaro, or I can go bike 70 miles with whoever I want. And so mindfulness is.
So here's what happens for a lot of people. Like, say you're a couch potato right now. Just say, I'm not saying you are, but just say. And you're like, all right, fine. It's beginning of the year. This year, I'm going to be healthy. So I'm going to start going to the gym and I'm going to eat a salad. And that lasts so long. And then maybe for a while, you actually feel really good. Yeah, I'm working out. I feel great, Victor. It's amazing. I'm eating what I ate. Look at what I ate. Look at what I ate. Good job. Good job. And then that starts to taper. And the reason that starts to taper is because that was not enough of a why.
Right.
Because we have an innate desire for an emotion. If you don't know that your emotions are your driving force in life, read Mark Manson's second book. Emotions are the driver. And if you have trouble knowing what your emotion is that's driving, take an Enneagram test. That's a good starting point. Gabby and I just recorded a video about how to create abundance that goes into a lot deeper into all this. But let's say my desire as a type 8 is intensity and challenge. Okay, well, that's fine. There's only so long I can go into the gym and challenge myself before, like, I'm going to just max out the potential of, and I did that for many years. I'm like, wow, I have a really heavy deadlift. And I'm like, okay, this isn't bringing me joy anymore. That's great. I have a heavy deadlift. And what? As a type 2, Victor's is more self-worth. So he can go in, but there's a certain point that there's going to be like, that barbell is just not going to provide enough self-worth. And so by adding this layer of mindfulness, we start understanding first self-awareness. Like, okay, wait, what is it that, like, what is this drive? What's this emotional drive? Some of you, if you type 3, it's achievement, and you're going to need to be in races, but you don't need to always be, or competitions, but there's going to be this level of like, oh, well, you might have to diversify that. And it's just an element of like, not right or wrong. It's an element of, oh, this is what makes me tick. And I have to constantly be providing new pieces to that puzzle. And a lot of us don't even understand the puzzle that we're trying to put together.
So define mindfulness for everyone.
Self-awareness, being present in the moment.
Any action that gives you that ability to focus on that, right?
So of course in flow state, we're being mindful. That's partly why flow state does so great for us in play. When I'm surfing, I'm not, now in between sets, I might be thinking about my to-do list, but for the most part, while I'm surfing on a wave, I'm only looking at the ocean right in front of me, or the tip of my surfboard, or feeling my feet. You're just so present in that moment. So one of the things that help us do that is meditation. And that's why it's been very eye-opening for you and for a lot of clients that have been receptive to adding the meditation, because it brings us into the present moment. Literally, and I'll have a link to this one, like a first meditation I give people is just breathing. Sometimes we just sit, close our eyes, block out the distractions, and you just start breathing. You're like, oh, I never noticed what my ankles feel like, or what my belly feels like, or like you all of a sudden at first like, oh, I didn't know my heart space was so tight, and it opens. Yeah. So it's self-perpetuating because you add that mindfulness element, and I really think it opens up a lot of your why and your strength and your play and your nutrition, and vice versa. Like if you're struggling there, you bring in, like, stop focusing on losing weight and just focus on being present in your day. It's like we have this rat race mentality, like tomorrow, or when I attain this.
Well, I think that might be a silver lining about right now. People are going, what do you got? I think a lot of people are encountering depression because they don't have those things that they can normally throw on it, right?
Absolutely.
So 2020 was rough that way. And I'll give you a little hint, and I didn't mean to interject a little bit, but I have clients that come in and this is how they look. So Robin, I want you to play the role of me, and I'm going to play the client, and you're going to ask me how I'm feeling, okay?
So Victor, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
How are you doing? Yeah.
I'm good. Let's go. So it was clear that I'm not good. And so it doesn't take a rocket science rocket scientist, for you as a trainer, I see this over the last 3 decades. People come in, I can read that was an exaggeration. They don't make eye contact. They're obviously like, okay, they're trying to psych themselves up. I can appreciate that. I'm good, let's go. But at the same time, if they took the time to offload or think about what they're dealing with inside, maybe put it on paper, mindfulness, journal, like, hey, deal that, they can offload, and then they can make their gains in their physical body and their mental body together. You got to have, that's the mindfulness. This is the reason. You got to do both. You got to do the dirty work. You got to get uncomfortable.
And it's not your fault. Like, society raised us. That's why we have these shirts. That's why this is our podcast. That's why society told us to follow the rules, to follow directions, to get in line, you're going to work for this many years in school, and then you're going to work this many years in a job, and then you're going
And if you're lucky, you can retire.
And I mean, it's pretty, I don't have to tell you, like, that's not the rules anymore. Like, you should know that. But how to make that transition from, this is what I used to believe, this is what I was told, this is what I inadvertently signed up for, to like completely, I used to tell Victor, like, you're just going to snip that thread. We're done with that. Like, we're going this way. We'll figure it out. And we do. And we'll give you more insight on how we do that. But let me give you a little more motivation why mindfulness is important, and it's such a huge building block in health, because let's say all this health is like, all right, I have got to be healthy and work out and eat that salad because I'm just so tired all the time. I have to work. I have to make money. Yeah. I have to. Okay. Well, that's fine. You can do it that way, and you can keep going on this circle or this up and down, like, yeah, I got this. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. And when you're thriving, you're making that eye contact. You're smiling at people, and you see it on people. When they're not, their heads down.
Posture shows everything. Like, you can tell people are beat down.
So this is how we've created this, we call it our Humankind Project. With what we've experienced in the last 5 years, even longer, with Victor talks about how he's been a trainer for 30 years. And when he went through adrenal exhaustion, I've got 5 kids. I get to do all these sports. We've traveled. We have kids that are happy. They're happy. It's amazing. And we
didn't win the lottery or anything. Yeah. That's what all the people assume. Oh, it must be nice to be independently
We've zeroed out our accounts so many times.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not easy. We have our own challenges. And why I interject that is because a lot of people are thinking that in their head. If one time someone said that, well, it must be nice to be able to, I don't have money. Then how do you do that? I'm like, well, it's a choice.
And so what I'm saying, you're doing it because you think you need money, and you think you need this achievement possibly. And so this Humankind Project starts on the base of absolute health. We have to put the foundation of optimizing our new movement and nutrition. Mm-hmm. And nobody can help you with that better than Victor. But then we go to this next experience, and life needs to be experienced. We get trapped. I mean, we used to be trapped in cities or trapped in our routine. Yeah. Now most of us are trapped in our actual houses. And we have to say no. Life thrives on movement, whether it's physical movement of the body to different countries, states, forests, mountains, all that. But then we have this next step, and this is the energy system. You literally have this energy system running through your body that you might not be able to see, but I want you to think of it as Wi-Fi. You depend on Wi-Fi all the time to watch these videos, to work, to get information. Well, your body has an energy system similar. You can't see it, but when you use it, when you tap into its frequency, it's going to align all these things of health and fitness and nutrition and wellness that you might just be leaving dormant. Wow.
Yeah,
that is so much snow that just fell off of our roof.
I know. I was trying to.
I know. I'm like, I had to say it. Wow. It was started off with a little bit. That is actually, wow, symbolic. That's what's happening. We have in our body these crystallizations from little traumas. They could have been like, oh, you had your feelings hurt, or your dad used to yell at you for this. All these they form crystals, so roadblocks in your body, and they build up and build up. And I can't believe how that timing was just like snow on the roof, build up till it gets so heavy that it's just going to collapse, and it ends up being a nervous breakdown for you, or major depression or adrenal exhaustion.
A midlife crisis, like there's also these things in our society that we define, but it's because we haven't been given the tools, and our parents can't, sometimes our parents can't, they don't know, they have their own issues, but you have to take that step and go, you know what, my life, short time, my family, what do I want it to feel like? What do I want my relationship to feel like with my significant other? I know we're soulmates and it's being damaged, it just hurts. So take an opportunity like, okay, let me get down and dirty in there and make sure that flow of energy.
I can help you with that. Yeah. It's actually very easy, but it's hard to work.
Easy, but challenging.
Yeah, so there's a lot of small steps. I'll put the small step in here, or I'll link it up there. You can click on it. Small step, look at the meditation, the mantras, start there and think like, am I missing this in my life? Or am I ready? Do I value myself enough? Really, it comes down to, I'll tell you, for a long time, like I jumped on this before Victor did, and it was a little bit more, he dipped your toe in it a few times till one day you wake up like, yeah, I want that part.
Well, one of the big things is that I can tell you I had some pretty significant trauma. I mean, I'm not here to say that I'm like the worst damage. That's not me. And that's part of the reason it probably affected me longer. I had some significant traumas. I had a severe sexual abuse growing up, and that impeded on how I dealt with the world. And my impression was, as I came into adulthood, it's like, I'm tough, I can handle it. No problem. But I needed to do more. I needed to do more work to get that out. And ultimately it came down to, because of my personality type, it wasn't necessarily because of me that I want to do it. I'm like, it's because of us that I wanted to do it. It was so important to me that I respect my relationship and take care of that with my soulmate. And so I did doing the work now to get uncomfortable. And actually, it's probably the first time on video I've ever said it. So if you have any of those, yes, it sucks, it hurts, but ignoring or repressing is not going to be the answer. It will come back to get you in some ways. It does make you the amazing person that you are right now. It does make it has part of your journey. And I know that. But the other thing is that you have to deal with how those crystallizations or those issues might have impeded on how you think about money, how you think about a relationship, how you adapt to changing circumstances.
Absolutely. And so let's just say, as you break all those crystallizations up and you actually have this like free-flowing energy, but also this free-flowing self-awareness. Like I can come back and check on myself every so. It's like a new form of discipline, really, because instead of being at that, I got to go work out stage, or I've got to eat that salad, it's a self-motivating, and like you're internally have this desire to just eat healthy because you just feel so good. It totally changes your intuition.
I know it sounds crazy to say, but you're going to want to, right?
Yeah, right.
No, like, oh. And it also changes it when you're saying, I just want to look good in a bathing suit for the summer. That's cool too. I think everyone wants to feel and look attractive. Everyone's different. I also tell women this all the time. 30 years of working with people, like, dude, it takes all types. Don't fear like some definition from society that you have to be shredded like a Marvel figure to be attractive.
And I think that when we're unblocking all these crystallizations, we start to learn to just love ourselves for who we are. And it's funny because it's like literally like with nutrition, whatever you put in, well, guess what? The same thing for thoughts. If you're putting positive thoughts inside your body, that's going to come out in your aura. Like people are going to see that. And so we really now, that's step 3, only of 5 of what our human kindness
So that was the 5 pillars of what I've been working on. And then this is, when we talk about the human project, we take that and we grow that.
And so the 4th is this, I laugh about this because I think it was Jocko's book was Discipline and Freedom. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, ironically, my brother bought that for Victor, and no, I think he bought it. Oh no,
he bought it for you.
He bought it for me.
But its application is great for me.
What are you trying to say? And then Victor, I'm like, oh, I'll just keep it for Victor. Well, I
like Jocko anyway because he loves weights. He's an ex-SEAL and he's tough as nails. And so, like, suck it up, Buttercup. Suck it up, Buttercup is like one of those things.
And it was so much the same as what I wrote in my Project Life book, but coming from like a guy's perspective. And it was really funny because then I really laughed when we were doing numerology and Victor's was is like
freedom through discipline.
Freedom through discipline. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But anyway, step 4 is really like is discipline. Like, are you setting goals? Like I did say with Gabby, like to create abundance, we need to look past setting goals of like weight loss. But like, are we setting goals for like fulfillment, for living our purpose?
Ooh, that's tough.
For in yoga we call it bhavana. There's this level, and I do it in my Project Life course, but there's this level of aligning your Enneagram, your core desire, your Myers-Briggs, your MBTI, like what is your behavioral patterns? How do you tend to, like his cognitive functions are completely, there's 8 functions. He's got 4, I've got 4. They don't overlap at all. Together we make an amazing team. If we're trying to do the same anything, it just doesn't work out the right way. But understanding that makes it so that we can come together and be like, all right, what's our purpose going to be? What's your purpose? What's my purpose? And then it's cool. Like, right, in the end, we don't care so much about lifting weights and nutrition as much as we care about that this connection, this magnetism we have in our relationships. Okay. Or we care the most about being in a relationship where there's magnetism. So if you have that relationship, we want to help you like maintain it. If you don't have that, I would love
right there. You can feel it slipping away.
Oh, we want to help you get that back. And then the 5th, and this is the whole point of it, is truly like abundance through manifestation, because there's this element of letting go. And when everything's aligned, you're putting good things in your body, you're putting good thoughts in your body, you've let go of all that negativity, and you're aligned with your higher self, your higher purpose. It's easy then to go into the gym. It's easy to go play. It's easy to eat the right foods. All that's easy. And so great things, I'm telling you, I promise you, amazing things just show up on your doorstep when you get to that point. So here you're on this side, you can choose rat race. I got it. I don't have time because I got to make money. Or you can like close that door for a while and just come over and be like, all right,
let me try this other way.
Let me try coming at it from this side, and maybe all those things that I thought I had to, or that I was going to control, or that I was going to force, maybe I could just manifest it through alignment of energy and purpose. So you've got a combination. Victor, I can help you with that. And Victor is going to absolutely nurture you through the small steps of walking into that gym.
I will say this, we're just hitting it from slightly different angles. And this is where we can come on and record a video and be like, look,
we need it all.
We need it all. We need it all. You can hit it from this. I love to hit it from this side because all of a sudden I see it all over people that have, first off, never been in the weight room, for example, and never had any expression of what their physical body can look and feel and do for them.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden they get strong, and I can see them like, oh my God, their confidence goes up. Because their confidence goes up, they're like, put themselves out there. They say what they want. And maybe that's what, that was me. That was me. You know, I felt that change. You know, my uncles gave me my first weight set when I was in middle school, you know, and I felt that like, hey, I got a little swagger, you know, I got something to give the world. And so we can hit it from both sides.
Absolutely. I think the reason we brought it together this way this year is because we were like,
we're saying the same stuff.
Because we sat down, I have these 15 questions I ask myself, or we ask our kids, and these 15 questions, again, throw the link in here. But these are the questions when I have to make big decisions, and we've had to make a lot. One of the things that make it so that we're at this place in our life is because we've made huge decisions. Homeschooling, moving our kids into an RV, traveling the world, now moving up to Montana.
Wait, giving up a home. Like moving full timing was a huge thing. There was a decision to go like, this house is not as important for me as like working out, going for a run, like eating right, or hanging out with my wife even, you know, is like not as important as me. Robin said hundreds of times, I don't care about the house. I care about you. I say, you know, we moved to Coronado and I grew my business to cover the increased rent. And she's like, I could care less about living here. I'd rather have you. Over and over. I'm like, oh, that's a powerful thing. She's like, she take my money. She wasn't, you know, we had nothing coming together. So it's a unique relationship in that regard. But at the same time, she was just saying, look, I want you present and accounted for.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have that hard question. We'll say that for another video, but I think when you start talking about gold diggers, I think most women, if their husband said like, you know what, I just want to go have more fun with you.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good one. Leave it in the comments. I know a lot of scarcity
I want
mindset.
the gold ring, I want the diamond ring, I want the
That's
fancy
cool.
car.
Yeah.
That's cool too. Victor's like, his wife's like, I want you to go rock climb with me and go grab a beer after.
She doesn't want stuff, which is
Don't
cool.
buy me anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we brought this full circle. I think I hope this helped you. Our goal is to show up here as many days as we can. I don't like to put numbers on things. It's a feeling I want to create, not a tangible thing.
Share
But
this
hey,
video with someone who needs it, guys.
maybe we'll be here every day. I really hope so. We'll try to keep the momentum. This
Yeah.
is like our gym in front of a camera.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, you guys.